Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from very sunny Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Joined today by Michael Hanson, all the way from, drumroll, Michael, where are you hanging out?
I am in London today.
London. It's just gone 5 p.m. mine, so that means it's gone what? 8 or 9 a.m. yours?
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. So you're the first call of my day, and I may be one of the latest calls of your day.
Tuesday was good. You're going to enjoy it. And how's the weather in London this morning?
It's cold, but it's better than usual. You can see the sun, which is rare here. So I know it's daily
Nice.
occurrence for you.
Nice.
But
All
yeah.
right. Well, I should get you out in some of that sun in about 8.5 minutes. Folks, Michael's is the CEO of Growth Genie. It's a company that powers up B2B sales teams to have better conversations, and not just your typical sales track conversation, but through playbooks, through cadence, through all sorts of organic, dynamic, natural conversations that not only shift a prospect to the buying decision, but also makes it easier and more natural for the salesperson. Have I got that right, Michael? I've ad-libbed a bit there, but
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then we do kind of classic training and coaching as well.
as well. Thank you. So work
Yeah.
with global giants such as the Realtors, JLL, global fintech companies such as Dext, and many, many others. Michael, appreciate you rocking up. Thanks for accepting our invitation to be on the show. The subject today is something that I've been pondering a lot, and so too have many, many people in the marketing world, the arts world, the science world. Really, the subject is leaving no stone unturned or untouched. How to show you're a human in the world of AI. Let's dive in, Michael. Question number one. Our time starts now. Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, personas three: sales leaders, marketing leaders, CEOs of smaller companies, and it could be any B2B company. We work with software, we work with real estate, but just they need to have two or three salespeople at least.
Right. And so they clearly have a dedicated resource to sales. They understand that the engine that drives everything in their business is revenue and new customers. What's the problem you solve for them?
Yeah, I think at its core, we're taking salespeople away from what I call transactional selling, which some people may call spray and pray selling, which is I'm sending the same boring message to everyone, doing the same boring presentation or deck, to very customized, customer-centric messaging. And then I look at two examples, right? Which is I when I train salespeople, if they're doing outbound business development, I say, if you look at your spam inbox, right? Are your messages similar to what's in your spam inbox? Because often the salesperson is focused on themselves, but not the
Right.
buyer. So it's all about flipping their psychology there.
That's a great question. Yeah. So we don't want the spam, but are we spamming others ourselves? Are the messages very similar to
Exactly.
what we've been receiving? And therefore
Exactly.
just not getting cut through, not getting traction. So what would you say? So you get a client, you've had a number of clients. What's going on in their businesses, in their sales cycles, etc.? I guess what I'm asking is, what are some of the typical symptoms of your average client before they engage your services? What's going on? And the reason I'm asking this is to help you folks as an audience to go, oh, that's me.
Yeah, I think from a leadership perspective, often with onboardings, as you said, we create playbooks. Playbooks are very focused on like product features, and the problem is your clients don't care about product features. So our playbooks are looking at who are your ideal customers, what are their pain points. Even a question like, "What do you do?" We say, don't answer that question saying something very generic. Talk about a customer story. So we'll train salespeople to have about 10 customer stories in their bank that they can reel off, whether it's a cold call, discovery call, etc. And then I think on the sales side is often salespeople are looking, as I said earlier, to do that spray and pray where I'm going to send the same message to everyone versus how can I customize this to each individual I reach out to.
Have you found a side question here? Have you found that when a salesperson feels very well prepared, very well trained, that call reluctance all but disappears?
Yes, I think so. I do think there's we always say you get out of training what you put in, and I do think when I'm working with a sales leader, I always say, and sometimes I've disqualified teams because I say if you don't have the right people in seat, there's no point doing training and coaching.
All right,
So
true.
I'd ask them, is it a skill issue or is it a will issue? If it's a will issue, it's very difficult for us to work on because if they don't want to be in the job and they're probably going to leave in 2 months, it's going to be a waste of money if we train them for the next 2 months. If
Mm,
it's a skill issue and someone's very open to coaching and training, yeah, I agree. Like as soon as they've gone through it, we've had some people we've trained who've gone from bottom performers to top performers.
yeah, cool. I'm glad you corrected that.
Yeah.
So you're working with sales leaders. What would you say are some of the common mistakes that sales leaders make in trying to hit their sales targets? These are the mistakes they make before they engage your services.
Yeah, I think going to the title of the podcast around AI, I think they first identify, hey, the first step we're looking at is we want our salespeople to do deeper research on our customers. And nowadays it's like, let's solve everything using AI, which is good, right? We still recommend, okay, I'm going to speak to Tom. Let me go into Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever tool it is, and ask, "What's Tom been working on the last 3 months? Tell me more about his podcast, etcetera, etcetera." And I can come up with some nice research. But what would be even more impactful is if I know someone who's been on your podcast, I can actually give them a ring and say, "Hey, tell me a bit more about Tom. You're on their podcast. What's happening?" So you need to combine it with that human approach. And I had an example with my colleague, Mike Sanchez, the other day where he was trying to contact a former client. And before he did that, I said, okay, who did you used to work with at that client? And actually do a quick discovery call with them before you reach out to them. So I think it's still use AI, but also rely on humans and conversations to do your research as well.
Excellent. Good top tip. Thank you. So speaking of that, and I that might have been premature. I'm not sure, but what other than that, do you have another top tip that you can give people? It's not going to solve the whole equation. They might need to contact you for that, but what would you say is one thing that someone could change or take action on pretty much straight away that will make a difference to their sales performance?
Yeah, I'll give a different type of tip. That was a bit more of a discovery tip I was talking about before, whereas this one is more, let's talk about like prospecting, outbound business development. I think a lot of the time, most salespeople always like say, do you have 15 minutes? And if you're contacting a stranger, often they won't even give a colleague 15 minutes,
All
let
right.
alone a salesperson. So one of the things we think is top salespeople act like marketers. And if you've got like a really interesting piece of content, so say in your case, you could use your podcast, right? And if you're contacting new people, instead of saying, hey, do you want to meet for 15 minutes? You could say, how can you be interested in this topic on my podcast? Would you be interested in seeing it? You'd actually give it to them. Would you be interested in seeing it? They say yes or no, and you can start a conversation. So that's what I would recommend. Like try and give some piece of content to start a conversation with a buyer.
So put a step in between the request for a meeting that's added
Exactly.
value for the prospect. They might actually be interested. Make it easier for them to say yes to that first step, which also, by the way, if you're giving good content away, establishes you as a credible expert. Thank you for that. We've got 37 seconds left. Where can people go to sign up for your newsletter?
Yeah, well, it's growthgenielab.beehive.com. If you go on my LinkedIn as well, it's there. And I send one actionable sales tip a week.
Excellent. So Growth Genie Lab dot Beehive without an E. It's BEEHIIV.com. Does that sound correct?
Yep.
Cool. So growthgenielab.beehive with two I's, no E.com. Sign up for the newsletter, get a top tip every week. And I'm going to press the pause button because I have taken too much of your valuable time. What's the one question I should have asked you? And we'll give you 30 seconds to just nominate the question and the answer, please.
Yeah, sure. I think it's how we talked about the topic of AI. So how are people using AI in the wrong way? I think the way to use AI, like I said earlier, is do some research. I gave some
Sure.
questions earlier about I was trying to
Right.
research you, and then put it into an email. Whereas if I put into AI, I run Growth Genie. I want to send an email selling sales training services to Tom Poland. It would write a load of rubbish, right? You can
Yeah.
use AI to shorten your copy to come up with ideas, but don't use it to take away your job, because then you will be replaced by AI in the future. So use it for research, but not to replace your job.
Perfect. Michael Hanson, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
Cheers.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.